What's up, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Psybient. Haven't been back to this playlist in a little bit, but I wanted to return, and indeed, not only do I have a couple tracks lined up for the next few sessions, but I recently reordered an ambient CD, like a proper ambient that I used to have on vinyl, meaning like true ambient, not Psybient, not with like, down-tempo electronic percussion and so on, but like true sort of like soundscape ambient tracks. I'll leave it at that for now, but I'm excited to talk about the artist when I get that album replaced. Oh, and by the way, I got another album from him, similarly themed, but one I've never heard before. So I'm excited to talk about that when those arrive. But in the meantime, we're going to listen to another Psybient tune, another track that goes back to my earlier days of listening to Psybient as like a distinct category, meaning, I listened to Astral Projection back in the 90s, and they would always have like one or two tracks on the like latter part of their albums where they'd be this like down tempo. There's even one that's like a down tempo version of People Can Fly, and they sort of like remixed a couple of their tunes as like half speed down tempo psychedelic tracks. So in a way, I've heard Psybient for a very long time, but I didn't start like paying attention to it as like a distinct genre until the late aughties, early 2010s, and then when I discovered it, I became immensely excited about it, started trying to find it where I can, and eventually started putting together mixes of it, which led me to my Ambient Excursion DJ show, which was on Pure Radio in Holland, a now defunct internet radio station. But eventually, when I started my YouTube channel, the old one, it was like, oh, I could put up those mixes. Now, I came to realize Psybient, has sort of tighter, like, copyright algorithms on YouTube, so sometimes when I post a DJ mix, it'll get blocked. And those DJ mixes way more than any other kind. Nevertheless, this is a track that goes back to my earliest days of getting into Psybient and starting to put together mixes, and I'm so amused, I had forgotten this, but it's from 2012. It's a tune from Chronos, I've talked about before. This is an artist, his real name is Nikita. But yeah, ultimately he makes this really amazing Psybient, and Psybient that has sort of like a narrative like feel, like you always feel like you're in a story when you're listening to one of his tunes. But this is from an EP from 2012 on Plus Quam Chill Out, which is a German Psybient label, and the EP is called Tea and Music. So yeah, I really enjoy the artwork. It shows a cup of tea, and then there's like a synthesizer sort of in the background. So yeah, shout out to a fellow tea drinker and appreciator of good music. And so yeah, this is Natural Chrystal, a tune by Chronos from 2012 on Plus Quam Chill Out. Xylophone percussion underneath. And all the while the bass line just... The metallic electricity of that. It's sort of almost like a clock tone. just like dancing melodies and different iterations, different levels. Another thing where I love this, but I'm also thinking of where we're going. Dynamism on the bottom and the elegance on top. Kind of a tribal drum feel. Tea shot out of the cup. Tea, music, and carpet cleaning. Into orbit and then comes back to do the drop. But it feels like a large spacecraft being constructed in orbit. It feels like heady, like ambitious, forward-looking. Stuff that when I discovered this music, it's like, oh my god, like where have you been all my life? Electric metallic hits. They're rare compared to a lot of what else is going on, but I love it. Or they're sort of like buried in some pieces. length of the tune. You could have just ended it at the end of that energetic part and just kind of had it fade, which it felt like maybe for a moment it would do. And I didn't remember in that moment well enough whether that's what it did. But I like that it sort of came back with that sort of de-escalated, sort of expansive but concluding kind of like pad emotional part at the end. Because that makes it more easy to use, to my mind, as a set ender. Whereas again, some tunes they'll just end like on the last percussive beat, which is fine, and you know, maybe you could get away with ending a set that way, but you know, the way I think about mixes, I would want to end with a track that has a more sort of natural, to my mind, sort of outro rather than just kind of stopping on the last beat. So yeah, I really like that ending. I like the tune overall, especially that moment where that layer comes in, which to my mind, it ups the emotional character of the track, and then shortly after it's introduced, it strips out the kick, it sort of gives that part its moment, sort of, you know, with some airy kind of supporting atmosphere around it. But I really like that moment, and then the way that it gets to the drop, it turns the track inside out for like a 4 measure, and then like brings it back and drops it. So yeah, I really love the track overall, and that moment in particular. Do let me know what you think about this one. There's a Psybient mix I have, or Psybient mix, more of those coming for sure, but I have a Psybient reaction coming where it's one of the very few, there's like 2 in all like 250, 300 ambient excursions I have, which is to say there's over 100 on the channel now. We're just like really kind of getting into it. There's still more that I haven't even posted, even if I never made another one of those mixes, which I will continue to make them, but even if I didn't, you know, there's more that I've yet to post that have already come. But one of them from early on, Waves of Spacetime, it's already up on the channel, but if you look at that video, you'll see in the description that I didn't have a track list for it, which is weird, because once I started making those mixes, I was very keen to like, okay, I gotta make sure I write down the track list and whatever, which I do for like all mixes these days, but yeah, there's a few mixes from way back in the day where I just, like, I didn't think to write down the track list, and then years later, it's like, oh crap, I got 3,000 records, I don't remember what the hell that record is, I don't even know what to look for in my stacks. So yeah, obviously most Psybient is digital, so it's, you know, a little easier to keep track of everything. Nevertheless, the point is that mix doesn't have a track list, and there's one tune in it, which this track that we just listened to is in it. The track right before it is a really cool tune. I don't know what it's called, I don't remember, so like it's surely still in my collection on my music computer, but I don't know how to look for it because I don't remember whatsoever what it's called. So I'm going to post a reaction to it, and in like the moment, I guess I'll call it like mystery tune or mystery Psybient reaction, something like that. But I'm hoping that YouTube's algorithms can figure out what it is, and then I'll change the title to the proper name. But yeah, there's another Psybient reaction coming where we're gonna have to like play detective a little bit, or at least rely on YouTube to do that. So anyway, let me know what you think of Natural Crystal by Chronos. I will see you next time. Peace.